Shalom, it's your brother Yarav, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Shalom to the elect of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom the Lord will have mercy on in these latter days. Shalom. Shalom to the men of the Lord that are preaching and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, shalom. And I have another quick article, more more sightings in the heavens, I should say. Now this is using Esau Edom's technology. This isn't a direct optical or visual sight, but something that they picked up on this device you see here, also known as a radio telescope. It says astronomers spot 4 mysterious, unidentified circular objects in outer space. Now, if you're in the know and know about the scriptures, the so-called UFOs are actually chariots that are prophesied to be seen really all throughout history and definitely in the latter days. And I'll get that in Zechariah. But let me just read this first part real quick here. It says astronomers in Australia have discovered 4 unexplained circular objects, each with an unusual glow that defies current understanding and may represent a new type of phenomenon hitherto unseen by humanity. The brightly edged ring-shaped objects, dubbed odd radio circles, or ORCs for short, were discovered by astrophysicist Professor Ray Norris on the Australian this ASCAP telescope thing here. He happened upon the unexplained phenomenon while mapping the night sky as part of the evolutionary map universe project, because Esau wants to be the most high, basically. He wants to know everything. He wants to have an answer for everything, and he wants to be the authority, the source on the knowledge of what is. But he can't understand what is. He can only get what the Most High has given him, and these are images of it here. You have these dots, these circular objects you see here. Um, and honestly, through the Spirit, I believe these are chariots that are up in the heavens that can only be explained and will only be explained in their entirety, once we get to the kingdom. But that's not going to stop Esau from making up some bullshit in the meantime, because he really doesn't know anything. But if you notice, it says these circular objects each with an unusual glow, and it says they're brightly edged ring-shaped objects. This is Ezekiel 1 and 4. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding in itself, and a brightness was about it." Showing you that this thing was glowing. It was like a fire, a circular fire, basically. When you look at that when you go into what that whirlwind shape is. And out of the midst of it, thereof a color of amber, and out of the midst of it, fire. And out of the midst of the fire, Salakia. So that sounds eerily similar to what Esau is seeing and what we've seen in previous UFO sightings, or so-called UFO sightings. It's identical, man, showing you that the scriptures are on point, as usual. And it says he happened upon the unexplained phenomenon while mapping the night sky. This EMU, evolutionary map of the universe project, is a global wide project that Esau has basically got a bunch of these radio telescopes all over the world. Really, they're working together to try to map out the heavens. To try to understand what's happening. Which they really can't explain it. They just have theories, but they'll lead you to believe that they know everything, but we know that that's false. This is Isaiah 29, and I'll start at 13. It says, "Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me," because they're so-called Christians. They like to spout, the positive love scriptures in the Bible, but meanwhile in their minds they're trying to destroy you. This is Esau Edom. A good example of that is Christianity. You know, and with their lips they do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, because they don't really believe in the true Most High. You know, and what they and the ones that do believe that the Most High is real, they're not with it. They want to follow their own version of wisdom, I should say. Because ultimately when they got the scriptures in Christianity a long time ago and they were analyzing it, what did they decide to do? They decided to merge it with paganism, and other religions, and worship other gods, basically, but try to pass it off as the true gospel when it really wasn't. It says, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men, because you had the Council of Nicaea and all these different uh, Roman authorities and church authorities in the Catholic Church that taught their own wisdom, and the UFO scriptures are not taught, in the churches today. They just blow by those, that those are just, isolated events, and they don't tell you about prophecy and what that means in the future. You know, it says, therefore, verse 14, therefore, behold, I will do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish. What does that mean? All this bullshit these theories they're coming up with, the Most High is going to put an end to all of that when He shows up, man, through His Son Yahushai Hamashiach. It says, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid, because they, right now everyone thinks that Esau knows what he's talking about, that he has a good idea of it. But you'll see, if you pay close attention to the astronomy, the articles, they contradict themselves all the time. They mess theories up all the time. And basically, watching them long enough, you get to see, man, they're just guessing. They can see things in the heaven, but that's all they have, visual evidence. He'll tell you it's black holes and stuff out there, and dark matter and dark energy, and he'll try to explain gravitational pulls, and he'll try to tell you the size of a star, trillions of miles away, you know, assuming that those stars are trillions of miles away. None of these things he can confirm, but he has an entire school. He'll take your tax money and put it towards, you know, his bullshit theory, and he'll continue to spin it, man. And ultimately, I believe, it goes into some higher form of witchcraft, you know, which I can't prove, but anytime Esau is up to no good, he's usually, taking money, and he's usually really excited about it, you know. Salakia. It says the ORCs, which are odd radio circles, represent a new type of object found in radio astronomy images. Norris says in a yet to be peer-reviewed paper, the professor theorized that they represent a spherical shock wave and transient event in another galaxy. It says another possible answer is that they are a new category of known phenomenon seen from a fresh angle. So you can just tell by his language he's just guessing. At the same time, he's he's telling you should believe him, even though it's clear that he's guessing. Such as the jets of a radio galaxy are blazar, which is another type of name that he came up to explain one of the objects that he's seen out there in the heavens. When seen end on down the barrel of a jet, Norris explained, 3 or 4 were spotted in 2019, while the remaining one was discovered in data from 2013 collected by the giant meter wave radio telescope in India. So you can see these radio telescopes are all over the planet that they're looking at this. says they are all high up in the sky relative to the galactic plane. Uh, and this is all, you know, these are all bullshit, measurements that he came up with, over time that he in no way can prove, you know. And if he can prove it, I'd love to see the proof of him sending visual, you know, evidence of all his findings, Uh, says all four are completely invisible in X-ray, optical, and infrared wavelengths, which narrow down their origin and composition, as they are only visible in radio wavelengths. So these chariots, we all know, they can cloak, they can disappear, they can show up, they can move at super fast speeds, and they can change in size, and it cannot be understood by the conventional science that we have today. But the Lord is going to give us the knowledge of all of that, of what is. That's one of our promises in the kingdom. We're going to have these things. Because whatever is causing the ORCs likely comes outside the Milky Way galaxy. I skipped down. It may potentially be the spherical shock wave of a truly massive event at some point in the distant intergalactic past. Because he's trying all of these guesses. He's trying to tie it back to one thing, which is the Big Bang, which basically says there is no God. Saying that everything came from nothing. So ultimately he hates the Most High. He wants to be the Most High, and he'll guess and he'll throw in bullshit, arguments about how things came to be, and he'll try to fit it into that narrative. All because he wants to be right about everything. Ultimately that's what this boils down to. But let's get to the last precept here, Zechariah 5:1 or 5:2. I will start at. It says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Okay, so this is a UFO, so-called UFO, a chariot. And let's see what he says next. He says, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, because this is what's promised, what we're seeing, and you're going to see them in the atmosphere more and more often too as well, that you're going to see chariots, man, all over. And this is their purpose, it's to be a curse, on this kingdom. But to us, this is a sign, it's a faith booster, really, it's a sign of the end, that means our deliverance is nigh. It says, for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. It says, verse 4, I will bring it forth. And we're seeing it. It says, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. And that's this kingdom, Esau, Edom, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and stones thereof. So that's what these chariots are here to do. It's nothing for Esau to get excited about, ultimately. So Lord willing, I pray we see more and more and more signs in the heavens, number one, and number two, more and more chariots, man. That's a beautiful thing to be able to witness one. The brothers that I was out with at one of the camps out here, they saw one, right out there while they were preaching the word, which that's a beautiful thing, man. So this is a good thing, brothers. I wanted to share this with y'all. As always, I hope and pray y'all are edified, and hope y'all stay in the faith. Hope y'all staying strong in the spirit and are watching. Call halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Wadash Wa Abba Babal.